Vidi this, children. While you might not be able to see me well, you can see me. Here we are in southeastern New Mexico, in the great oil field of the Permian Basin. Today, of all days, we are transporting upon our transport truck this here wonderful vacuum truck of all things. Do you see him here? This is not my normal vacuum truck, as it is in the shop for an alignment. These roads are not in the best of shape, as you can see. We are running a sight glass today. We want to be able to see what kind of fluid we're loading. As you can see, that's clear water. We can see a bit of the Teflon tape in there floating around. And in excellence and due course, we will watch for the liquid gold, the Texas tea, the black gold that will come eventually. Hopefully, we won't actually run into any ourselves. This truck is not actually a hazardous material truck. It's just a water tanker at 130 barrels that hauls primarily produced water, and that's what we're loading today. And of course, you could haul anything liquid in here if you wanted to, but it is primarily intended for non-hazardous water loads. Of course, you wouldn't want to haul milk in this because it's actually sanitary like the milk trucks are, and it has baffles which are not allowed for the transportation of food-grade products. Being a vacuum truck operator or truck driver, is one of those things that's quite freeing and liberating. See, here I am out here, as I showed you with the initial 360-degree pan, by myself operating this truck, loading this water, hauling it to the disposal, unloading the water, and moving around, taking gauges, and connecting hoses and fittings, and spark lines, bonding cables, and such. It's a good deal. It is. If you like a bit of a solitary life, it's a good deal. Now, the thing about that same said is that if you don't like a bit of a solitary life, you might want to choose something a bit different for yourself. I happen to really enjoy people and all their various shenanigans and whatnot, but I'm trained for this. I've had experience in it, and it pays pretty well. I often find that if I'm not working with the right sort of people, I would rather work alone. So it's kind of a catch. I do like people, but I don't like to work with the wrong people because they are more problematic than they are of social entertainment. Up here on the inside of my hard hat, we have an H2S monitor, hydrogen sulfide gas monitor, which will sound off when it detects parts per million of 10 hydrogen sulfide gas molecules in any 1 million parts of air. It will get even louder and more buzzy and flashy. Flashes red, puts out a very loud and annoying beep, and it will go faster with the vibration and flashing once it hits 15 parts per million. At above 20, 25, 30, you can no longer smell the hydrogen sulfide gas, which is the low levels, which will set off the alarm smell. It's often like rotten eggs or some kind of rot. Now, the higher concentrations will actually burn the receptors out in your nose, so you can no longer smell the gas. And then at those levels, it is generally very harmful or fatal. Once upon a time here, men that would go across the tops of these tanks, as you can see, we have a stairway here and a catwalk up to the top. They'd run manual gauge lines, basically a ribbon of metal with a ruler type on it, and they'd run them down the tank with a heavy brass plumb bob type thing at the bottom until it touched the bottom, and they'd reel it back. Now these little hatches up here were how they would access that, and they're still here to this day in case manual work needs to be done. Those men, if they were not actually very careful, and it could still happen any time, they could be gassed to death. The high levels of gas, especially in the oil tanks, will build up at the top as the gas breaks free of the actual liquid oil and rises to the top. Now, these batteries do have types of gas containments. That isn't always to say that they don't still build up beneath the hatch, and it has been known to happen many times that a man will go up there, having been used to the job and been doing it for many years, many times, having a careless bit of a day, a rough time. He'll pop that hatch and stick his head down to look in to see the oil level, and the gas will absolutely kill him dead, basically instantly. He will fall right on top of the tank, KIA. And either his friends or partners or pumpers will find him later, or somebody will come across his body when he doesn't check in. They'll come looking for him. That is an unfortunate thing that can happen, and very rarely does anymore. With the advent of these safety monitors, these high-tech pieces of Badger pager-sized warning devices. They have saved a lot of lives, and of course so has knowledge and a refusal to be complacent. The oil field has cleaned itself up in recent years, over the last 20 or 30 years I say. It used to be that the men out here would drink beer all day long. They'd drive around to these different leases and these different tank batteries, and they would drink beer all day long, getting drunk on these dirt roads. And I always thought it was something of a man's deal, you know, but of course, drunk driving accidents were very high. Men would flip over their trucks. Of course, they were, inhibited, decision making would often cause them to make accidents. And these things are can be under very high pressures coming from such deep depths in the ground, and you can hurt yourself pretty badly by doing the wrong thing at the wrong time, or putting yourself in front of something that might release or break loose. Now you can see over here, we've got the tanks, and back behind me over my shoulder there are test separators. Now those separate the gas and oil, and there's a bunch of little tubes and valves and flanges and panels inside that, which bounce the stuff around pretty much at different speeds, different velocities, different angles, and it knocks the dirt and the grimes and the what is actually officially known as BS&W, bullshit in water, out of the oil, and it allows the gas to then more rapidly free itself from the liquid crude. The large phallus-shaped object we have right about, where is it? There it is. The heater treater, also generally more often known as a heater. Now you can see there at the front, it's got a big round part and a small chimney-like part. They actually use the natural gas coming off of the well to create heat inside that smaller tube by starting it on fire. They burn the gas off in that tube. That little thing just looks like a chimney, is in fact a chimney. And then the heat from that radiates through the metal wall of the back of the chimney and heats the oil, which allows, again, the water and the gas to escape, or the oil to escape from them. Oil rises to the top, being as it is thinner than water. Water, of course, stays to the bottom, and the heaviest particulates drop even farther. Now, as you can see, there was some piping coming off of that at various heights, and that is where the oil and water drain off. At one point, the oil will hit and it will drop off, and the water will hit a lower valve and it will drop off. Now, of course, there's sight glasses and plenty of digital automation attached to these things nowadays, but there wasn't always that. Now a modern pumper can sit in his desk, his laptop in his home, and monitor the different aspects of his LAC units, these transfer circulating pump things. He can monitor their speeds, RPMs, all sorts of gearing, their maintenance schedules, their oil levels, their heat temperatures, their transmission temperatures. He can monitor the tank levels, he can monitor the well pressures, all of it from a computer. And that wasn't always the case. Men had to come out here in the past and risk life and limb to do those things manually. I mean, these older pumpers don't talk about reading pressure so much as they would listen to the sound. There was an energy company back when that actually required their pumpers to keep their windows down as they were patrol their various leases, so that they could hear the sounds that these wells were making as they were pumping. You could hear the squeak and ping and pop and the different sounds that a submerged pump will make, and that a pump jack will make, and you can hear the different hissings and moans and things that will come up. An inversion well that is under its own pressure and pumping straight through the line, you can hear those things, and if they have problems or if they're making sounds that are out of the ordinary, you can easily detect them by hearing. Now, safety's come a long way. Fire-resistant clothing is the newest trend, and the 4 quad monitors, which monitor 4 gases as opposed to just your H2S, which is your most common and likely to hurt you. Now, having said that, there's the sun there for y'all. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I've got much more to tell you, but I'm afraid I've got to get back to work. Thank you, and good day.